Welcome to another episode of Last Minute Living. If you don't know what we do, let's cue the intro. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the other end. G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Last Minute Living. Now today I want to dive into something that's probably going to help you throughout these summer months coming up. Obviously sun's out, happy days, but that's going to mean a lot more beach trips for me. So one of the main things I want to cover off today is tyre deflation. Now there's a couple different ways you can do it. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through some different methods, and then it's going to lead into a bit of review on my preferred method and how we're rolling with that. So the first thing we've got here is, I suppose, the old school way, and this is a valve core deflator. So idea is that goes on your tyre, sinks on there like that, sits on there like that. This you push in, you screw it, you unscrew the valve cord. This will then shoot out like that, and then you're free to basically lift that up, air will run out, close it, check your pressure, go back and continue. But then the last bit is you've got to go back in there and make sure you screw that back in. Advantages, I believe it's faster. If you know how to use it, it can be way quicker than my preferred method. Probably one of the disadvantages is that you can also destroy your valve core. So if that pulls out your valve core and snaps it, you can be in a world of hurt if you don't have any spares. I did mention that in a previous episode. I actually don't carry any spares. To be honest, I don't know how often it's going to happen, but I probably should get onto them, but I don't use this that often. So that'll lead us into my most preferred method of deflating my tyres. So on many episodes, you would have seen me use my Camp Boss tyre deflators. Now, these are automatic tyre deflators, come in a little carry pouch. They basically screw on your tyre, you can set them, you can lock them. Ideally, they run down to the desired pressure, cut off, and happy days. So advantages of them, super easy. You just screw them on, forget them, come back. When they're turned off, they're done. One of the disadvantages of them, yes, okay, they may not be that accurate and not necessarily quicker, but for me, it's just more the mindless not having to actually physically do it. So I can pop these on, go give someone else that I'm with a hand, let their tyres down, and by the time I've done that, I can come back and mine are pretty much done. So they are my preferred method. I used to have Stauns, so Stauns and Camp Boss, I suppose, are probably the two big hitters in terms of tyre deflators, or the auto ones at least. But I had the Stauns. The hard thing for them, when you're setting them, they can loosen and be all over the shop. Also a pain to set. So if you don't know how they work, you've actually got to set your tyre to the desired PSI. You basically put the Stauns deflator on, you'll wind it back, wind it back, wind it back, wind it back until it starts leaking air, and that means that you've hit sort of that pressure. So yeah, bit of a pain with these ones. If you unscrew the little locking mechanism, I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but down there is some numbers, and that is basically your PSI. So you will just twist the bottom part, ideally line up the barrel there with the number, and then you'll lock it into place. So super handy. Once these are set, pretty much good to go. But I have encountered a little problem with these deflators. So they work on a spring mechanism. I'm going to show you guys that in a minute, because this is going to be part of the video. This is the reason why I'm doing it. When you pull these out, they basically just work on a spring mechanism. Now, the problem I'm having at the moment is they're not stopping at 15 psi. Well, sorry, some of them aren't stopping at 15 psi, which I have them set for. So sometimes they can get a little bit dirty. So basically my plan is to basically pull them all apart, make sure they're all clean. Then I'm going to put them back on my tyre, test them out, and go from there. Alright, now one of the last things I wanted to touch on is this. Now this gauge is not a deflator. This is just purely a gauge. I have this gauge to check my tyre pressure. I have this gauge to go down lower than 15, because obviously that's what my autos are set at, so they basically stay at 15. This is if I need to go lower or to help someone else out. This also will tell you your tyre pressure as well. So there is no need for this, but what I wanted to mention is don't go and get one of these thinking that you've got yourself a deflator. They are actually different. So that's just something to keep in mind. This will pretty much do the same job and deflate your tyres. So just watch out for them ones, but I've got one handy just to check to make sure that this one's accurate. So sort of see how that goes. So we're pretty much going to pull apart my Camp Boss now, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about them, what I like about them. Personally, like I said, I've had them for probably close to 2 years now. I've had the Stauns for a little bit as well, and opted to go for the Camp Boss, and I find them pretty good. I mean, I've only really had dramas the last couple of times I've used them, but I have not really had any problems with them until now. So we're going to pull them apart anyway, and we're going to basically hopefully get them all back into service, and yeah, get them all ready for summertime when we're going to be hitting the beach.
Alright, so pulling apart these Camp Boss, you got to unlock it. I just do it to the max just to allow it to get a bit of a grip on the bit that tells you where your PSI is. What you want to do is unscrew the barrel, and that's it. So that is the spring mechanism. So when there's a pressure difference, the pressure will push that up, which will allow the air to come out, and as soon as it's not enough, it drops back down into place. So by pulling this apart, we can check to make sure that that's actually springing back. So that is springing back, which is good. But also in here, you want to check, there's a little rubber seal right down in there. Now you don't want anything between that and this plunger, because if that gets caught and leaves a little bit of a leak, it's just going to keep leaking. So I've washed that out. You can wash it out, make sure you still got that rubber seal in there at the end, and then basically what we're going to do is just put that back together, screw that down, which will screw up to the 15 psi, which I got it set at, usually just above the barrel. If you can see that whole number on the barrel, that's about where you want it set up. And then what you're going to do is you're going to then put the lock down, lock it off, which will stop it from rotating while it's in the case, bits and pieces like that. But that should be good to go. So we're going to put these on the tyre now, all four of them, see how accurate they are, and also hopefully all of these will now work, that they're all cleaned out. Alright, so that's just stopped. Screw that off. Remember to put your caps back on when you are done, because you're not supposed to drive around with them on. So I'm going to check the pressure. I don't know if you can see that, but that is running at about 18 psi, which is close enough for me. I'll just check that one just to see what it's actually set at, because they are, yeah, so that's set just at the 15 there. So it's not as accurate as your valve core release, but it's going to do the job for me. They're not meant to be hugely accurate, so that's good. Now I'm going to put a little bit more air in my tyre, and then I'm going to repeat the process for the next 3 tyre deflators.
Alright guys, there you have it. Camp Boss 4x4 Tyre Deflators. They're probably the best ones I've seen. I've seen there's a few more come out nowadays, so I can't speak for them. But these versus Stauns, 100% I would recommend these over the Stauns. Like I said, I've had both. The Stauns can be a bit tricky to set. They can come undone and then it totally screws the purpose. So the fact that these have got a little dial, easy to check to make sure that they're set to the right pressure. Obviously still keep in mind things can get stuck in those little rubber washers there, so just keep an eye out. If your tyre does look a little bit extra flat, that's why I run some other gauges just to confirm, so I know when not only my compressor gauge is accurate, making sure these are accurate, and also making sure my valve core deflator is accurate as well. So just making sure, just sort of cross-referencing a bit. Obviously once you've done it a few times and you know if your gauge is out or whatnot, you can run off that. But definitely recommend these. These are my favourite. Just throw them on, happy days, ready to go. But definitely know how to use a valve core deflator as well. So yeah, that's going to conclude this little video. I just wanted to tell you guys about these coming into summer. Yeah, obviously we're going to have plenty coming on this summer. I'm really excited. The weather's just starting to warm up. It's taken a little bit while, so I don't know what Perth's doing, but we're getting there now. Had some ripper days. I was in the pool the other day, so I was really enjoying that. But stick around, guys. We're going to be doing plenty more this summer. A few little trips down the beach for sure. But definitely, if you want to see more reviews, if you want to see the valve core deflator, if you want me to get some valve cores and work out how to actually replace them, let me know. Otherwise, comment down below what you want to see and what you guys reckon. Are the Camp Boss all they're cracked up to be, or do you think the Stauns are better if you own both or have had one or the other, or even some of the other brands? Let us know down below. We might even see if we can get our hands on some of them and come back to you with a video comparing them all and seeing how accurate they all are. Got these pretty accurate, within 2 or 3 psi of 15, which is sort of what I'm looking for. Quick and easy. Obviously, if I get in trouble, I go down with the valve core, so a little bit more accurate and can monitor that a little bit better. But thanks for sticking around, guys. We will see you on the next episode of Last Minute Living. Hopefully we'll be out there somewhere, but we'll see how we go. Catch you later, guys. Hope you enjoyed.